Hello, I'm Bill Bullard with RCAF USA, the voice of the independent cattle producer in the good old US of A. Well, I'm a taxpayer and I eat beef. And if you are, and if you do too, you should be mad like me, boiling mad. And that's because your government, our federal government, is tricking you into supporting foreign businesses. That's right. While you make your purchasing decisions and try to support your local, state, and national economy by choosing when you can to buy products that are made by U.S. manufacturers and U.S. farmers and ranchers, who in turn support U.S. jobs, your federal government has devised a scheme to trick you into supporting businesses in Brazil, Uruguay, Nicaragua, Mexico, and elsewhere. Now, the government scheme is as simple as it is awful. Knowing that many of you search product labels so you can support your domestic supply chains by purchasing products with a Made in the USA label, your government underhandedly changed the rules to allow a product of the USA label on beef that is exclusively produced by some foreign business in some foreign land. Now, this has been going on for nearly 7 years. And even though consumers and farmers and ranchers have been complaining about it for nearly 7 years, our federal government refuses to do anything about it. Now, that in and of itself should make you mad, but this will make you madder. You see, our U.S. Supreme Court once understood that the states should retain their historic police powers to protect citizens against fraud and deception in the sale of food products. Now, what that meant was when the states took steps to protect its citizens against deceptive labeling, such as labeling a foreign beef product as a product of the USA, then the states would not automatically be preempted even if a federal law actually allowed such deceptive labeling to take place. But that wouldn't do for the multinational corporations that wanted to build their coffers on the backs of hardworking citizens and whose influence over the federal government was much greater than their influence over the 50 states. You see, the centralized federal government was simply easier to influence. So unsurprisingly, the U.S. Supreme Court reversed its position and made it difficult, if not impossible, for states to protect their own citizens against deception sanctioned by the federal government. And that's what 2 of 3 appellate court judges argued when New Mexico citizens tried to evoke the state of New Mexico's protections to stop the federal government from allowing multinational beef packers to deceive consumers by affixing a product of the USA label on foreign beef. But 1 of the 3 judges disagreed and stated if there is any subject that states ought to have complete control over, it is the protection of the people against fraud and deception in the sale of food products. So you decide. Since 2015, your federal government has said that a foreign beef product that has never been touched by an American cattle farmer or rancher could nevertheless be labeled as if it were birthed and raised right here on American soil by American cattle farmers and ranchers. And that foreign beef products could be mislabeled anytime a multinational meat packer wanted to do so. And of course, they do want to do so because they know American consumers would prefer to support America's cattle farmers and ranchers, and importantly, because American consumers want to know where their food comes from. So should our federal government be allowing such a deception? Should our judicial system be upholding the right of the federal government to continue such a deception simply because our esteemed U.S. Department of Agriculture, USDA, has concluded it is not a deception to label foreign beef as a product of the USA? And should our states' laws that prohibit such a deception be preempted by the federal government? Now, nothing about that is right. And to make matters worse, it wasn't an act of Congress that said foreign beef could be mislabeled as USA beef. And it wasn't a federal agency's regulatory authority that said foreign beef could be mislabeled as USA beef. No, it was merely a USDA policy written by USDA bureaucrats that said multinational beef packers could mislabel foreign beef products as product of the USA if they wanted to. Doesn't that make you mad? If it does, then help us fix it. Help us enact Senate Bill 2716 that requires all beef sold in grocery stores to be labeled as to where the animal was born, raised, and harvested. It's called the Mandatory Country of Origin Labeling, or MCOOL, Bill for Beef. So call your 2 senators and your representative and tell them to help sponsor and then quickly pass Senate Bill 2716, the MCOOL Bill for Beef. And then please go to our website at www.labelourbeef.com to learn more. Sometimes it takes getting mad before we act. It's now time to act. With that, have a productive week. Thank you and goodbye.